Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're here, Anime FMK. That's the name of the show.
Ostensibly.
Yeah. We printed it on this tablecloth, so it must be true.
So in case we forget.
Yeah, the tablecloth wouldn't lie to us. No. I guess we could introduce ourselves if we felt like it. Hi, I'm Ben. I'm your host.
I'm Scott, co-host.
I'm Kieran. I don't think I have a subtitle.
Don't you mean Lord Moonstone?
Don't!
Starting it off right.
No. Hearing my senpai say that just makes it sound even more dumb. Like he's talking down to me, you little child.
Yeah, me over here, HBI 2K.
But you made 3 abridged series that were all at least passable.
Escaflowne sure was that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You know what? The best of Escaflowne was still pretty goddamn funny.
Oh, I know.
Also, I played Delando, so.
You knocked it out of the fucking park as Delando.
I love Delando. I very rarely talk about parts that, I really liked. I go back to them, I could have done it better, but at the time, that was the most fun I'd ever had in anything I'd ever done.
Yeah, I learned that I like casting people. I don't like directing people. I just like going, I bet he would be good for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I cast Taka as a little kid before he played Dende.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had no reason to think that he was capable of doing that voice, but except that, I don't know, he's worked at this shit, right? Which is more than I've done.
I loved that voice for him because it's so silly and so inappropriate for a little child, but it works so well for that character.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Old Abridged series. We start with a list of 10 of them every week.
There's somebody. I want to know the person who joined Anime FMK who doesn't know what we used to do.
I don't know.
There's probably a bunch of people who don't know what we used to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
I used to be in Portland for 5 days. That was fun.
Oh yeah, you were out of town.
You did.
You went to the Portland.
Then there was a time skip, and now you're here.
Yeah. No, that was my vacation. Brought to you by Probate and EPAM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they got into a bidding war on my personal stream, way back last November or something. But that takes those payments take 3 months to come in, and
Yeah,
then
something like that.
yeah. So I finally just cashed those checks and said, "Yeah, I'm going to Portland in February." That's what smart boys do.
Did you have fun, though?
I did. It was
then
amazing. I loved it. I watched no anime while I was there.
That sounds like a vacation indeed.
It was. But then I came back and I watched anime.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
While it might have been February in Portland, I'm sure there was more than enough grain.
Yep, courtesy of Probate and EPAM, they dropped the green on me.
Yeah.
Making it rain on my ass. How was your week, Scott?
Oh, my week was learning how to stream. Thank you, Sam Leonhardt, most of all, for sitting down with me and teaching me how to do that. But yeah, I'm now streaming. So yay.
What's your Twitch name so people can find it?
Kaiser Neko, twitch.tv/Kaiser Neko. I'm going to be streaming Nier Automata this week.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, remind me, I should add you to the auto host on the, on the Team 4 Star if that's something that you want. Not everybody wants that. Okay, cool. Kieran, what'd you do this week?
Tried not to die. I think I succeeded.
Okay.
A wise man once told me, just try to have a good time and don't die.
Trying to do the thing where we talk a little before we go, oh, now we're going to talk about anime again.
Oh, well, I mean, I
mean, if we're going to talk about anime, maybe we should talk about what died last week.
Actually, that's a very good point. Yeah, so last week we had a poll. Mm-hmm. We had a bunch of people in the Discord and probably in the YouTube comments, but I was about to say, who cares about that? No, this part's going to be in there. And in the YouTube comments, which I read...
I read all of them.
No,
that's right.
I do, actually. They had my number saying, sort of felt like Ben was trying to manipulate events to get it to a poll.
I'm really glad you said it to me before I had to ask you, because I was like, Ben, I know the fuck you're doing. What are you doing? And you were honest about it, so thank you for being honest about it.
Yeah, I was gaming the system a little bit.
Oh.
But yeah, so it was down to 2 anime, Junji Ito Collection and Hakumei Mikochi, Tiny Little Life in the Woods.
Yep.
And as
overwhelmingly by like a 70-30 or
okay.
like might have been 60-40 by the end. But by a pretty large margin, people wanted Junji Ito to die.
Yep.
And we weren't sure which way that would go because not a whole lot of people really seemed to like either of them.
Yeah.
People seem to dislike Junji Ito more, but Hakumei Mikochi is on high dive, so nobody's watching it.
I just think Junji Ito, because it's attached to such a well-regarded name and has had just such a botched production that it has gained so much ire.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm so frustrated by it.
You didn't even read the manga, though. Like, you don't even like the actual Junji stuff.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I've gone and I've read some of the manga, like, out
Which
of these
one?
stories. I read the...
What's your favorite?
I had to read the one about the guy whose dreams kept getting longer, and that one was spectacularly good.
Right.
I
That was
also read the Slug Girl one, and it works
Right?
better,
Yeah,
much better
it's
as a
fun.
manga
Yeah, it's
for
good,
me.
it's goofy.
And oh god, I didn't read any of the ones with the little nail, the dude that shoots nails.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I haven't read those either.
Oh god, what was the other one that I read? Because I actually didn't like it as much. Let's see, it's already out of my head. It was from episode 3, I think.
Oh, what was that? Was that Creepy Girl? The creepy model? No.
No, it was the model one.
Model? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that one is more effective on paper. But yeah, by and large, I think that story was just kind of whatever for me to begin with.
Kind of.
But
I think I was more lenient with that show than you guys because, like, the argument that you've made multiple times, which is even at its best, it's not as good as the manga, so why wouldn't you go read the manga? Like, that is a valid point. I will never read the manga. I'm a basic bitch. I know that I will never take the trouble to hunt up this thing and figure out what's the legal way to get a hold of it, and I'm
That's
never
fair.
going to do that. So, you know what? Every week, it serves me up some stuff, and lots of it's kind of not good, but occasionally it's pretty good. But it won't be serving me up that stuff anymore because it's dead, it's cut from the list, and also speaking realistically, I'm not going to take the trouble to watch it to then not talk about it with you guys.
Yeah. I should mention that I'll save that. Never mind. I'll come back to
You'll
it.
save what?
Nothing.
Okay.
Did you watch this week's?
No. I've been watching something else.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's take a moment to grieve the loss or celebrate the loss, however you feel about it,
my
of
God.
Junji Ito Collection.
Farewell, dark, dumb prince.
I hope it's what's that face is like ass, and he just like rockets away with a giant fart.
But I mean, seriously, people in the comments, in the Twitch chat, in the Discord, in the YouTubes, like, if you're gonna keep watching this show, and if a really good segment, like, if a segment comes up that you're like, oh man, this one's real good, let me know, because I might watch. Like, if I know that,
I might poke back in.
yeah, like if I know that this is the good one, then sure. But I'm not too sad about not watching every little bit, whether it's good or most of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's talk about what we did watch this week. We watched Ancient Magus Bride, episode 21, Necessity Has No Law. Chise and Elias meet with the Witchy Coven, but they are unable to lift her curse without killing the Dargon, saying that the only thing that can replace a life is another life. This gives Elias an idea, and he secretly researches a way to transfer Chise's curse to Stella. However, Stella has been possessed by Cartophilus. When Chise discovers Elias' plot, she bitch slaps him and disappears with Cartophilus, who claims to be able to teach her a spell that will ward off her inevitable death. This episode goes to some dark places.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, I'd like to point out that the main witch is played by Mayumi Tanaka, aka Krillin's actress.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was something I
Cool.
picked up pretty early, and I was like, oh, cool. She's playing old women too. Yeah, dark places.
Yeah, and actually, before we move on to dark places, that witch stuff, boy, if that didn't feel like some place where they probably cut out a huge chunk of the manga.
I'm not
what was the point of any of that?
I feel like that's going to come back in a way. I feel like that's going to have ties later on in the story. Because if it doesn't, then yeah, there seemed like there was no point to it because the only world building it did, and it did a little bit. If it's not going to tie back into the plot at all, that's not like Ancient Magus.
It did in that episode. The witch says the only thing you can replace it is with another life. That's what makes him do that.
I guess that might be the.
That's the main takeaway.
Is that the main takeaway?
I mean, plot-wise, sure, but like that's an idea that could have been introduced any number of other ways without having to introduce this whole group of characters and then just shove them off to the side because they don't actually matter.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the issue. It is a simple thing that Elias himself could have known and just as easily cut all that stuff. So if it doesn't have any plot relevance later, that was weird and unnecessary. If it does, though, then cool.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
I liked it. I like the girl being stuck in the roots. Like that's neat.
Well, don't get me wrong. The actual things they introduced were interesting, but you know what they say about stories and unnecessary parts.
I don't.
Cut all unnecessary parts.
That's what Stephen King says, and he's a great writer.
Okay, you know what? I take everything I said back. It was a great scene. I'm glad it was there.
But here's the thing: if they do bring them back, they've got 3 episodes to do it. It is late in the day to be introducing new plot
I don't
threads.
think they're coming back.
You know what? That might have. The manga is still ongoing. They might actually have some plot relevance later on, and we may never see that in this anime. So
Yeah, and if that's the
Yeah.
case, like, yo, I get it. They've only got so much running time left in this show, but if you don't have enough time to make this matter, just cut it out altogether.
it's possible we could get another season, in which case it's good that it's there. But that's a lot of ifs, maybes. We don't know.
Yeah.
So, and if we do get a second season, it's not going to be for probably years because they'd have to let the manga catch up. So,
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, ultimately, altogether, it was still cool to see. Hey, it's a witch's coven. That's neat. I'm interested in that. It's just I'm hoping that its plot relevance extends beyond. Yeah, by the way, to get rid of it, you need to change a life for a life later.
Yeah, like I like the idea of oh cool, there is a third branch of magic here because so far we've got the mages, they ask spirits for help. We've got the sorcerers, they affect reality directly. I was really curious, like how do witches deal with shit? And we don't know.
Yeah, we didn't really get a lot of that. I mean, witches are apparently experts on curses, so that's neat.
I mean, not so expert that they can't stop their leader from being a tree.
Just because you're the best at something doesn't mean that you can do everything. Come on. But yeah. So let's set the witches aside because I feel like the witches are the least important part of this episode.
Yeah, so Elias does some shit, and Ruth's right there with him, and wow.
Yeah.
I'm not wholly surprised that Ruth went along with this. But because we know where Ruth lies in all this. And Elias goes up to him and he asks him like point blank, hey, if you had to choose, who would you choose? And Ruth is like, jeez, hey. All right, cool, we're doing this then. Let's go grab a little girl and kill her.
This felt in character for Elias. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, this is unbelievable. How could they? I don't see how you bring this character back from this.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. We have a couple episodes left. This is a very big I hesitate to call it a misstep because I feel like that's not a strong enough term. This is a grievance. This is a grieve error on his part in terms of his progression as a character. But yeah, it's wholly in character. Like this is absolutely something like as we've seen, and this show is done. The mangaka did a very good job, and so is this director at giving us this false sense of security with Elias. This idea that underneath all that, he's a good person. He's just got this cold exterior. Yeah, he's still kind of a child, and children can be monsters. He does not understand how this is a terrible thing to do because he does not see this other person as value. Like they don't see what's her name? Ellie?
Stella.
Stella has just as much value as Chise. he only takes Chisei as having value because she's important to him. So, yeah, this is
And yo, if you're gonna if a life for a life is the way this goes down, there are other people that you could pick in the world. There are people on death row who are gonna die tomorrow anyway. There is you could conceivably figure something out. And he's pretty straight up yeah, I don't like that you're friends with this girl.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that. See, because until that point, I was like, oh, wow, okay, you just really don't understand the value of human life. This was beyond that, though. This was jealousy.
Yeah, and we certainly knew he was capable of jealousy. We didn't realize how far that went. And that's the part that makes me if there's anything that feels potentially out of character, it really is Ruth. It's hard to see Ruth going along with sacrificing somebody else for Chisei. Yeah, maybe. Sacrificing Stella?
Yeah, that is the part that kind of confuses me a little bit because we know that Ruth has a very deep connection with Chisei as a familiar. How did he not understand that there was no way Chisei was going to be okay with this? Or was there some plan to make her completely forget about Stella?
Well, that they made it sound like everything will be fine when you wake up. I don't know what spell he cast that was gonna do that.
Yeah,
She'd forget when she woke up. Who knows?
I mean, we've seen that he's apparently capable of that when he he bonks her on the head and says, "No, you don't need this memory." It really seemed like he was about to erase this traumatic memory from her. So maybe that was his plan.
Yeah, I can see that.
Probably was. And in that regard, Ruth, I find Ruth's involvement in this to be the most questionable, regardless of whether or not it was Stella. I mean, but the fact that it was Stella does add that just extra layer of really, dude. I mean, I know that you love her and that she matters the most to you in the entire world, but gosh. Then again, after losing his sister, he probably has this huge complex about losing Chisei. Maybe that just ran so deep that he was like, no, I can't lose her.
Yeah.
I'll do
You have
whatever
a
it
plan?
takes.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah. And if anything, maybe it just did a poor job at showing that trauma motivating his actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's possible that there might be more yet to be revealed about what exactly the plan was and what's going on. But it's hard to think how they could explain this to make it better without it feeling like a contrivance.
I can only think that the manga might have had more.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can see with a lot of this show. Because I mean, we have Elias going to we get him formulating this plan, talking with some scholar. We don't hear anything,
And that was
which I'm
fascinating.
fine with.
Yeah, that was fascinating to me. You can definitely tell that there were probably words in the manga. The show is doing a lot to kind of keep a lot of the actions that are happening a mystery, which is actually pretty cool to me.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like
the
it.
idea that no, it is literally showing and not telling you. But at the same time, I don't think it's going out of its way to kind of explain some motivation, visually or through actual dialogue. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of rocky ground here, and I do think that this is indicative of the second season's fault here. Yeah, stop cutting all this stuff from the manga if you're just gonna kind of streamline it to the point where we have to fill in gaps.
Yeah, it does make me wonder too what the sorcerers thought Elias was up to, because we're introduced to the sorcerers as these guys are pieces of shit, and then as we've come to know them a little more, it's like no, Elias doesn't like them, but and hashtag not all sorcerers.
Well, I think the idea with the sorcerers is that they may not be bad people, but the actions that they take are not necessarily what would you say it?
It's like unnatural.
Yeah, unnatural. That's the bigger issue. They're kind of like the scientists to the religious folk. It's like, no, this goes against the natural order of God, which in this show, actually no, that's appropriate. Where in reality, I'm like, no, scientists have it right. Just let them do their thing. No, here, like, yeah, they might have a point about maybe don't mess with the natural order of things, guys. You might actually do some damage. Like, these guys are decent people, but they might actually do some damage if they fuck with stuff too much. So that's an interesting counterbalance to the sorcerers versus the magus and the witches, etc. But yeah, no, you do have to wonder what's their outlook on? Yeah, we're just gonna go sacrifice this little girl for the sleigh biggie.
Yeah, I mean, I seriously doubt that he came to them with specifically, hey, I'd like to murder a little girl.
Yeah. I don't think he'd lead with that.
Yeah, and we are left to fill in the blanks with our imagination, but my takeaway was probably like, hey, I want to see if there is a way to transfer this curse, and sort of left to whom as unspoken.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that these guys would be down for, yeah, let's just sacrifice an innocent, but could they have been down with, well, we'll figure out how to transfer the curse and then worry about finding a suitable shitty person to transfer it to later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although you have to wonder if the transfer of the curse, does that restart its, like, if you do that, you might not, the next person who gets it might just have the exact same amount of time left.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like, you need a solution immediately, because whoever gets it next is going to be on the same the same timetable as the first person.
Well, I think that was pretty much the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, as at least the idea that the witches gave us was yo, you want to lift this curse? Kill that Dargan.
That's what I was like expecting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she wakes up and the dragon's not there.
Yeah, it's true too.
The dragon's gone. And wasn't addressed.
That's fascinating to me. Elias is more willing to sacrifice this little girl than go against Lyndall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very interesting character dynamic for Elias to value Lyndall's opinion and Lyndall's interests over the value of another life, and obviously Chisei's life over another life. So, but it also does add to the fact that no, he chose Stella specifically because he couldn't stand the thought that he's not the most important thing in her life. He's already sharing her with a dog, so.
Oh yeah, and I think they frame it in the beginning of the episode. You see just a bunch of flashbacks from his point of view, with everybody just saying how fucked up he is. Look, it's the fuck up, it's the half-ass monster or whatever. And then he says, like, you're the only person who's like ever looked at me differently. And I think the fact that she isn't the only one that looks at him like that, he gets jealous.
Also, yeah, God, the reaction from Chisei is so heartbreaking, because you can see that in that one moment she realizes that, like, this is there's no way to get around this. There's no forgiving this without some serious, like, and yeah, you said how do you bring a character back from this? Which I'm sure they'll find some way, whether or not it will be fulfilling or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sure they're gonna try.
Yeah.
I have a hard time imagining this wrapping up in 3 episodes and going, wow, what a heartwarming ending to, they went to some dark places, but they were always...
This
is irredeemable.
Yeah, I'm getting really, really concerned that it's going to end with a cliffhanger.
I don't think we'll get a cliffhanger. I think.
Well, I don't think the relationship is going to be resolved.
I'm more concerned that they will try to tie it up in a neat little bow and fail miserably.
I would rather they just cliffhanger it. So,
I would rather the cliffhanger than a shitty bow, but I'm expecting a shitty bow.
Yeah. Well, regardless of what happens, I think I'm not going to do it until after the anime is done, because I've come this far just knowing what the anime has shown me. I want to experience it on that level. I think I'm going to have to check out that manga when this is done.
Yeah.
See how that handles it.
100%, motherfucker. I need to figure out where this is going.
yeah.
But in the meantime, With some reservations, but let's get real. We're 3 episodes from the end. It's not like I'm gonna cut this off this late in the day. Holding up that eggplant.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, regardless of whether or not the ending here is bad, this is still a heart-wrenching, gut-punching episode that had me from beginning to end, and I'm so curious where this is going. So yeah, this is definitely still a fuck. Absolutely a fuck.
I was waiting for the heel turn from Elias. I'm glad we finally got it. I'm very much 100% in. This show has done more than enough to earn my favor. It's rocking this later half.
Yeah, and like this late into a show, a knife basically means no. This is jumped off a cliff so bad that it is not even worth getting up to this point. And
Yeah.
I will definitely recommend some shows with the caveat that, by the way, the ending's kind of shit, but it's worth it anyway. So even if the ending is totally shit from this point, the journey has still been worth it. Speaking of journeys,
Oh yeah.
let's talk about a journey to a place further than the universe.
Ah, he said it.
In episode 9, Sports Boy declares that he is in love with Captain Moleface, but she doesn't know he exists because he is the worst character ever and should stay in his own shitty show where he belongs. Literally everyone Captain Moleface knows wants her to get closer to Shirase for some reason, but they are awkward around each other and, we learn through flashbacks, have been ever since Shirase was in kindergarten. Dealing with mad survivor's guilt, it turns out, hasn't helped that awkwardness any. The ship runs into some ice and begins breaking its way through it, which is real dope. The girls are allowed to step off the ship during a brief rest stop, and Shirase shouts in your face at all the haters. I love this episode, you guys.
So
Yup.
good.
This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Sports Boy's the worst, and this is just the same character that I hated in Just Because. His
Yeah.
character design even looks the same.
Oh my God. Yeah, it does.
Oh my God, he was nothing but a vehicle to get Shirase and Gin. I can never remember her name. Adults. in this-
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you got it. I think it is Geen, but
Yeah.
regardless.
To get them to work some shit out, which, all right, fine. If we need a vehicle to do that, that's cool. But he was the least. He's a character that is made 100% for laughs, and he's the least funny thing in this show. Why him? Why this plot? Oh no.
I don't think he'll be coming back.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think we've seen the last of him having any spotlight, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Because the rest of this episode was remarkable.
Yeah.
I loved the parallel, like with just her, like with Shirase in the past and the present, going back and forth, like showing her on the jump rope and like every interaction as she gets gradually older in the flashbacks. That was so cool.
Yeah. The learning about the way that these two characters grew up with each other was fascinating for me because we've always seen them they know each other. They
Yeah.
definitely know who each other are. What is their actual relationship? And as it turns out, Takako was actually pushing them to get closer. And sadly, it seemed like the entire reason to push them to get closer was because Takako knew that it was possible she could die out there, and she needed another mother there. And that's kind of heartbreaking when you look at it, as you see this development, and yeah.
Finally seeing a bit more of what seems to be her last words. That hit me hard, man.
Oh yeah,
Oh
that
my
too.
God. Yeah, this whole episode was just heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
And this show has been real good about giving you just these little hints that, hey, by the way, there's, light and fluff and cuteness, but there is some real shit lurking at the center here, and this was the episode where it all came out in full force to devastating effect.
So we talked early on about finding her mother. I think, did we have some kind of misunderstanding, like find her mother alive? Because I firmly believe now that Shirase has already come to terms with the fact that her mother's dead. She doesn't want to find her alive. She wants to find a body that was never found.
I mean, she's looking for closure is what she's looking
Yeah.
for. And this is one of those quotes that I wrote down because it seemed very important. She says that her life didn't change. She was waiting for her mom to come home, and she just kept waiting. Even after knowing she wasn't home, her daily life just continued. And so if she says, if I wanted it to change, I had to go to her. And then they title drop to the place further than the universe.
That scene is heart-wrenching because you see that Shirase has had this conversation in her mind. She's gone over this to the furthest extent that she could, to a place where this conversation ended with her saying like, well, did you do anything wrong? Is there anything else that you could have done to save my mom? No? Then why would I be mad? Why would I be mad?
Yeah.
And of course, Gin calls her out like, is that how you actually feel?
Yeah.
And her response is, I don't know. Like, I never wanted to have this conversation because I knew if I did, I'd have to come face to face with it. And I'm like, oh, that hurts so bad.
Yeah. No, the writing continues to be the far and away the best part of this show. It's the characters consistently feel so real and so evocative of feelings, conversations, and people that I have met, and just what happens when people have to deal with loss and resolutions and closure that this whole thing is kind of leading up to. And I honestly wasn't expecting it to deal with a lot of this. They just kind of kept pushing it off, like, oh, we'll get it when they're like at the base or something. But they pulled it up here, and it's like, that was in a great way.
Yeah. So the couple days, I'm about to get personal here. The couple of days before I went on vacation, I did a real good job. I knew I was going to need another vacation. I knew it as soon as I got back from Christmas vacation. I came back like, that was good. That wasn't enough. I need more of a break. So I scheduled myself a vacation for the next time I thought I could reasonably take it. And it turns out I estimated almost to the day when I would need it. Because I talked with both of you actually before I left. Like, I was having a rough couple of days. Some folks out there might know I lost my brother 2 years ago. He was 27. And I was talking to a close friend and a mentor about it, telling him like, hey, I'm having some grief problems and I don't know how to deal with it. And he shared with me a story of a mutual friend of ours who had to deal with grief. He lost his wife, and he was finding it difficult. And this is, years and years and years later, like long past. I mean, there is no agreed upon normal grieving period, but past the socially acceptable time when it's like, yeah, you can be dating again. You might think about getting remarried if that's what you want to do. And he was having real trouble bonding with another woman because gee, I wonder.
Yeah.
And what he did was he re-exposed himself to that trauma in controlled circumstances. He forced himself to face it again. So he'd been dating a few women at the time, and everybody knew about it. He was pretty straight up like, hey, here's my deal. Here's what I'm dealing with. You can kind of take that or leave it. And some left it and some took it. But when it kind of came time, like, no, I want to get serious with a woman, he chose the woman, and he took her to the site where the car accident happened, and then took her to the hospital and re-traumatized himself, but with him in control.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this is.
Okay.
In a way. Yeah. This is like, yeah, I've still got this trauma that I haven't found a way to deal with yet because it's still the same, because every day keeps happening and nothing changes, and I need to change something, and that's what this trip is for her.
Yeah. I hadn't considered that.
Yeah.
No, that's really poignant. I can see that being it.
I'm really happy that this show is not based off of a manga or some other material. The writers get to take their time and really explore these characters, this plot. It is very studiously paced and planned out, and the most human writing I've seen in a show in such a long time. It's beautiful, and we're here. We're in Antarctica. We finally hit it. 9 episodes in, and it doesn't feel like anything was rushed or too slow. It's it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, and they're just on the edge too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why, like this really feels like crossing a. You want to talk about Joseph Campbell, hero's journey? This
Yeah.
is unimportant crossing the threshold because they've still got a long way left to go, but they are in the Arctic Circle. The sun doesn't set anymore.
Yeah, as I've been in Finland where that was the case, and it's crazy.
That's nuts.
So, but now they're in the Antarctic. They're like full on like, yep, nope, you will not see dark now.
Yeah.
That's not a thing that you're gonna get. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
And just seeing the physical manifestation of breaking into it, and that whole bit too about like we lost the war, so we were given like this bumfuck piece of Antarctica. They're like, fucking try it, losers. And they're like,
Samamiro!
yeah. And so we did, and every step, one day each at a time. And man, it's great with the way they sync it up with the footage of the icebreaker and everything.
Oh my god, that
So
ship
cool.
is so cool.
It's rad as hell, dude.
Just seeing this, and Madhouse.
Oh, they're
Jesus,
so good.
Madhouse. Yeah, the way they give this ship this sense of weight, the way it rears up and just slowly you hear the metal creaking and comes down on this ice.
One of the great things that they did was that they've composited this 3D ship in there, but they've done it very subtly.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's definitely computer generated, but not in a way that takes you out of it. It feels like it's a part of this setting. So when it goes up and it comes down, that fluid motion, it's just so crazy. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's one of the best. It's one of the most glorious scenes in the show so far. Just this ice breaking, like 100,000-ton machine crushing through the ice. The what do you call it? The vents of the water at the bottom. You know, like that was so amazing.
But,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
we talked a couple of weeks ago during our Afterglow segment. If you watch this on Twitch or if you're on the Patreon, you got a little extra section. We talked about Japan and World War II and the national pride and stuff. And I don't know that there's a way to get into all of this in the space that they had, but it was kind of noticeable to me that as they were talking about, so, Antarctica got divvied up post-World War II, and they gave us the hardest part of it to reach. And felt like they kind of glossed over that a little bit. In she asked, oh, so they were kind of like bullying us. Like, yeah, kind of like, yeah, there's a whole lot more historical context there. I don't know. I wish I'd had more time. Like, that's the sort of thing that'll send me on a deep wiki dive. Like, hey, what were the politics around that like?
Yeah, right.
What are all the things that they're not saying here? But because I had just gotten back from my vacation and I had to watch all of this in a very limited time window to see everything for today, I didn't get a chance to research that. But that was a little...
it didn't. Nationalism in anime? No, never. Actually, to be fair, here I think it felt appropriate. I don't feel like it was too out of bounds, considering they probably did kind of get a little bit boned. I mean,
no, but the characterization of the adults, then they're just like, yeah, I guess. Then like, man, those meanies, said to the kids, the relatable folk for you at watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious about it too. But I noticed that.
And I don't know how you give a more nuanced view of that without descending into a history lesson that really has no place here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the parallels they were drawing there between international politics and her jerk friends in high school were a little iffy.
Yeah. Yeah, a little shallow there.
Make it relatable.
But also, they see penguins, and that's real cute.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the bonding moment. That was good. A good parallel too with them seeing it on the TV and going, penguin. Seeing it on the boat, penguin.
Yeah, the Japanese have a love for penguins. They absolutely I know we all have a love for penguins, but the Japanese very specifically, you will find them as a cornerstone of just what is the cutest animal you could possibly have? The penguin will be in the top 5 of a list from the Japanese every time. It's hilarious, but it's also accurate because penguins
are adorable. They're great.
They're just little wildly vertical birds. It's so amazing.
They're so goofy.
Yeah.
Do we know what Shirase's dad's deal is? Have we ever heard anything about him?
Not that I know.
I think he left. I think he left.
Was that said anywhere?
I'm not 100% certain. But I do think they're separated. Then again, if they were separated, like it would have probably had to have been before she was born because he's not in the picture at all.
Yeah, we never see, unless I totally missed it. And yeah, it sort of seems like if he was a factor in her life, it probably should have been mentioned before now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad that, it might have been a one-word thing and glossed over. I don't know.
I don't think it's ever been brought up.
Yeah, just like a sentence, a one-off line. But yeah, I can't remember.
Every
for the life of me.
flashback was just her in high school. That's the latest we get back, and nothing about him.
If he's dead, that's whoa.
Yeah, that's rough.
I mean, it's not like him being alive apparently would have mattered at all either. But if she lost him at an early age, that's also pretty shitty.
Yeah.
This show's great,
Yep.
and this might be the best episode yet.
It's awesome.
Sports boy and all.
I wouldn't know. I don't know if it's my favorite episode yet, or if it's the best episode. Because again, Sports Boy kind of pulls away from that. But everything that's not Sports Boy is so freaking good.
Yeah, I'll deal with some Sports Boy if I can have if
Yeah.
I can have this episode. Would have been better without him, but oh well. Try. Fuckta.
Base
the books.
Tyler, thank you for the suggestion.
Yep. Tyler's home with strep throat right now.
Yeah.
We love you, Tyler.
We got Brian in as our cameraman.
Yep. We've also got Tiny Life in the Woods.
Tiny little life in the
Tiny
woods.
little life in the woods. One of those lives that happen in forests.
I can't wait to hear your plot summary.
In episode 8, Hakumei, Mikochi, and the songstress get mixed up in an immigration dispute in the bad part of town. Or maybe they're gangsters? An artist commune? Property owners versus tenants? Class warfare? The generation gap? The only thing that's certain is that only a delicious mint julep can solve this dispute. Unless it needs to be disgusting? Okay, fuck it. Who got Haku Hoshin Enji in my Hakumei and Mikochi?
I'm not. Okay, so I watched the episode last night, as you do, the day before we record, and I'd had a little bit of scotch. I then regretted the scotch because for a moment there I was thinking, did I drink too much? Am I missing some things? Because this is going a mile a minute, and I'm not sure what the hell's happening.
This is the only episode, I think, that has only one segment.
Yeah.
And it's just all over the place with I don't know what the focus is.
Okay.
There's a scene where they're in the cellar and they know that she's kidnapped on the other side of the door and don't do anything.
Okay, so the major part, like, to basically give you an idea of the whole plot structure to this, because I finally pieced it together afterwards. This is a multi-tiered part of town, basically. There's multiple stories to this part of town. It's in kind of a bad neighborhood, but it was led by a really rich guy who wanted to make a commune for people. They built up their own society, and now like newcomers, since that guy died, they're afraid to let new people in. And so all the newbies, all the people who have immigrated in are being treated like lower second-class citizens. And when one of the girls decides that she's going to have a concert there, they decide to kidnap her as a way to say, hey, fuck you guys. You don't get to throw a concert for us. You're not part of us. So when she's kidnapped, nobody's all that worried about it because no one feels like she's in danger, but the concert's going to be called off. So it's kind of like this like back and forth, like not a real on full war, but they're trying to get her back so the concert can go on. But it's all presented so quickly and with no who are these characters? Why should we care? Like you drop this almost media res in the middle of like. I feel like stuff might have been cut from the manga so they could just put this all in one episode because they didn't want to do a two-parter. But oh my
this
god.
episode. I hated this episode so much.
I hated it so much.
Last week, I felt like maybe I was being a little harsh on this show because it's, it's still cute and it's fine. Maybe it's a little boring sometimes, but it's fine. This episode sucked.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is a bad episode. And it's not like there's nothing good in there, but it's all buried under a bunch of stuff that leaves you asking too many questions and.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's
like there was cool stuff. They're flying over the city and
paper
in
airplanes.
paper airplanes.
that part is so cool, and I'm like, with this fucking cat that throws them, I'm like, this is amazing. Why do I not like it?
Yeah, because the story makes no goddamn sense. It throws a million new characters at you.
Yeah.
There's no stakes because it's so confusing. I don't know what the basis of this conflict is. I hate it.
Yeah, like this is so. Other episodes have had some stuff that was questionable. I don't think there's anything in the show that has been bad. Questionable, yes. Maybe not as entertaining, and like maybe not very entertaining. Yeah, this was bad. This was a bad episode, and that leaves me a little bit nervous because I'm not sure what sign I'm going to hold up at this very moment, because I like this show a lot. I don't know if you guys picked up on the fact that I actually really like it just in terms of the whole show. While you guys are a little bit more in the middle. But yeah, this left a bad taste in my mouth. This was a bad Minjulep, man. Bad Minjulep. It even took the worst, like, it took the best parts of the characters and then did them poorly. Like the idea that Hakumei is probably the best character in this because she's the most competent one and she keeps her cool. She's like, no, we're going to handle this. We're going to get it done. And I like the fact that she does that. But it also seems like there's no conflict. There's no problem because, nope, Hakumei's got it. Hakumei handles everything. And then Mikochi, oh yeah, don't worry, I can decipher what this drink is supposed to be, and then makes a better drink. And it's so... This felt like a parody of whatever it was trying to be, honestly.
There's a segment when they're like broke down a wall of mushrooms. Then they're like fucking up the town.
Yeah, it's like a food fight. What?
And then I can't get over the fact that they see the guy beyond the door and they know that she is kidnapped and do nothing.
Oh no, that part actually made sense to me. Because
How?
What do? There's only the three of them, like the three of them in the room. They rush them, they're gonna lose. Because one, that fucking lizard dude is way bigger than the three of them, and they've got all their guys in the back room. So what do?
That's the thing. Like, if they want to have this like physical conflict between these two factions, but they like at the point where there would actually be stakes to it, they pull back every time. Like, oh no, it's actually this light, goofy thing. Like, no, what makes this show interesting when it is interesting is that it is grounded and real.
Yeah.
As like, even if it's as silly as the barber's drunk, so we'll make limoncello. Like,
Yeah.
no, but they're actually making limoncello, and we're gonna talk about how you make limoncello. And
Yeah, this was class. This was like immigration and class warfare and a bunch of other things rolled into one. And look, I can see it being a little more lighthearted, but not like they had to cut like 2/3 of what happened here and make it something more personal. They tried to make it personal. They tried to make it about these people coming together and setting aside their differences and opening up their homes to each other. But it just,
Yeah, they did that after they fired off in 5 other directions. They say, no, this is the thread we want you to follow. Come back, come back.
Yeah, no.
yeah, I have been bored. Like you said, I've been bored by this show before, but it gave me enough good stuff that even if I'm sort of bored, it's like, well, maybe the next segment will be something interesting. This was the first one that was just actively unpleasant to watch because it took so much mental energy to try to keep up with what the fuck was even happening, and I just didn't care.
You know what this reminded me of?
What's that?
Kino's Journey. This reminded me of an episode of Kino's Journey that I really didn't like. Like, well, there's a lot of things going on. Things don't quite make sense or add up because they're obviously not taking their time like in the original did. This felt like, I remember halfway through, I'm like, I feel like I'm watching Kino's Journey again, and I do not like that.
I don't know. The worst.
Kino's Journey had a conceit that you could always go back to.
Yeah.
Everybody does one thing. This was, we do this and that and that and that.
Like, I can parse everything now. Like, after I ruminated on it, I could parse it. But I should not have had to have ruminated. I should not have had to have sat back and thought, okay, this is what they were going for. This is what they were trying to do. This is their purpose. This is their goal.
I mean, Kino's Journey was always, and it often failed, but it was always attempting to serve a theme. Yeah. And
I can see what they were the theme that they were trying to service here. I can see what they were trying to do. They just did it exceptionally poorly. Again, it was all about the fact that these people who had been living in this district were being unwelcoming and unkind to newcomers to the point where they were ruining their lives. But that's actually kind of a serious topic, and they treat it with this goofiness and this like the kind of
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Kino's Journey always gave its theme like its full respect and weight.
yeah.
Like it's the craft of the story might still have been bad, but
Yeah, this always felt like we're gonna have a conflict, but because this show is too cute and too reserved, we can't actually go to blows with anything.
yeah, and that's fine if that's the kind of show that you want to be. Give me more limoncello. I would
Yeah,
rather
I would
have that
rather
than
have
this.
that than you try to tackle this because this is out of your ballpark.
Yeah,
dude.
the UVA of this show does not lend itself to this. What would you call this? This action, like,
It's like urban civil warfare.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I would love it if I don't know if I would love it, but it would be interesting if this tried to tackle a heady theme like that and actually took it seriously.
You
Like, I would be real curious to see what that would look like. This is not it.
I bet you if this had been actually 2 episodes and they'd let some of the more human moments sink in, like there are a couple
Yeah,
moments
yeah.
where there are like what this needed to be was a personal story, but since you don't spend any like nearly enough time with the characters,
Yeah.
like it's one after another. Nobody ever shuts up in this episode because everybody has to explain how they feel, what they're thinking, what they're planning on doing at all times. But what we like, you know what part stood out the most to me that I liked?
What's that?
When the songstress is talking to the people who kidnapped her. They're getting along. They're just talking like, "Hey, so what flavor is this? Oh, that's this flavor." Huh, it's
Yeah,
good.
that felt the most like
when
the
her
the
arms
show.
are out of the because she's like whatever, it's not a big deal because they're just trying to ruin my concert. She's not in danger, and that's okay. She doesn't actually need to be in danger, but this conflict needed to bring these people together in a more natural way. There needed to be a moment where and they try and do that where they have like, oh yeah, we're cooking this food while you're hungry, just sitting over there, you can come with us and eat. But it's done so quickly and with no like actual atmosphere or development. It's again, if this had been 2 episodes where that had been like they could have taken time to have more conversation and let the idea sink in, it might have worked. But no,
It might have, although I strongly suspect that it would have been just as bad but twice as long.
I don't think so. I think again because you're trying to piece it together as it's moving at this breakneck pace. Huh?
Nothing. I was just kidding.
Oh. But yeah, no, as I said, I had to parse it afterward. And parsing it afterward, I could totally see how you could have made this work. But it didn't, and I had to think about it afterward. Like, and not that, things I give you, not that material that makes you think afterward is bad, but it shouldn't be about what was this plot.
Yeah.
What were they trying to
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the last thing I really want to be thinking about.
Yeah. The best questions to have after something like this are what did it all mean, not what the fuck just happened.
Yeah. So, look, I'm going to hold up a card. I'm not killing this because I love this show, and this might have been a bad episode, but this was the first bad episode to me. If next week isn't stellar, and I mean a really good episode, like if I'm not glowing, you can hold this to me. If I'm not like, this was a return to form, this is what I watched this show for, and if I don't hold up a knife, I want you to both hold me responsible, okay? Because I know what this means.
Kieran?
Oh, and that's if this lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even begrudge you that.
I don't know what else to say. It was not fun to watch. There was nothing. None of it was enjoyable because it was surrounded by so much garbage. I can't taste the chocolate when it's surrounded in poop.
Yeah. Some people gave me some probably well-deserved shit last week for being a little harsh on this show, and yeah, I probably was, because before this episode, the worst this show ever was neutral, and I can sit through a fair amount of neutral if something's giving me, because I might get some more of that good stuff. Now going forward, I might get some more good stuff, or I might get another one of these.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry.
No, again, respect it. I respect that.
Yeah. And all right, so that is a double kill for Hakumei and Mikochi on the books. We're gonna see. We got two more on the list here. We'll see if that's dying or if it's going to poll. So we've got Killing Bites coming up next.
Yeah, so this one's going to come with a preface.
Yeah, a couple of prefaces, actually. So at the time of this recording, Killing Bites Episode 8 is not on the U.S. Amazon Prime yet. Don't know why. It is on the UK Amazon Prime. It is on the Canadian Amazon Prime. It's probably on a bunch of other Amazon Primes. Those are the two I checked. You can pull up amazon.co.uk and search for Killing Bites, and it will show you episode 8. And then when you press play, it'll say, hey, you're not in the UK. Fuck you. Unless you're on a VPN, in which case it'll let you watch it. Wink. So what I have done is on Twitter, I've shot off a little message to @Prime Video and also to @AmazonHelp. They haven't gotten back to me yet at the time of this recording. I would urge everybody else, if you've been following Killing Bites and are wondering why it is not available yet when it came out for everybody else on Friday, respectfully, politely.
And we do mean that.
Yeah.
We say with the we're not being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Politely but firmly tell them, hey, this isn't on there. What's happening?
Yeah.
Like,
because here's the thing. They might not realize that anybody is sitting at home hitting F5, as I very much was yesterday. Like,
Okay, good. Me
no,
too.
where's my fucking Killing Bites? No, anybody who follows my Twitter knows I've been here like, yo, where's my fucking Killing Bites, though? I fucking need this. I just watched this garbage Hakumei and Mikochi episode. I need some fucking Killing Bites in my life. What's Killing Bites? Who wins Killing Bites?
the funny
How
thing
will I know what Killing Bites is?
Yeah.
Dang it, I'm trying to see if it's up right now. Because if it's up right now, that's going to be hilarious. But,
and please do check, because what I say at the time of this recording, which right now is Monday afternoon, this will go up on YouTube probably Wednesday. So that's why we VPN'd in and watched it anyway, hoping that in the next 2 days, this will be resolved and everybody can watch it.
Yeah.
But if it's not, here's your warning. Unless you don't care about spoilers, which with this show, I would not be surprised if you don't care about spoilers. Yep, it's not
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's not up. So if it's not up by the time this comes out and you have not been able to watch it, skip it, skip this segment, or watch it if you don't care about spoilers.
Yep. So second preface, I watched this immediately before leaving for work this morning because I was hitting F5 a bunch. And so I forgot to write a plot synopsis. So, okay, based on my notes.
Yeah.
Episode title, shit. Shit. They're gonna try and legalize therianthropy. All of the rights to it. Oh, they hid the you can become an animal person legally now. They hid that in a bill about food regulations, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, I love that. Like, this bullshit is so funny.
Everybody seems to be okay with it, except for the kingpin of the reptile team, who he knows, Sumitomo, I think is the name of the clan. He knows that it's a power play by Shido, but he doesn't seem concerned. He's like, no, I will crush your ambitions. What else happens? Gorilla versus Rabbit. Gorilla was a nerd in school. He got bullied.
So we got big, strong gorilla arms.
Yep. He's having trouble catching Rabbit, so he finally starts chucking trees at her. Oh,
Yeah.
no, you fucked up, dude. Hootie Man's still up in the mix.
The Lorax is here.
Yep, and he's pissed. I didn't realize it's hard to keep track sometimes of who's on whose team. I forgot that those two are teammates.
Yeah.
Hootie Man doesn't give a shit. You touch his trees, you're gonna die.
You know, if the gorilla had half the brains that he thought he did, he would have run.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously fast enough. He's probably faster than Keto.
But maybe. We don't know how fast Keto is either.
Yeah.
I still like your theory that he is the most dangerous animal of all, man.
No, I like the elephant.
He could also be an elephant.
Yeah, I want elephant.
And
That's the
he's
one
gonna
I want.
he's gonna show off his trunk, and I'm gonna love it.
But yeah, he just stands there, and this is one of my favorite dumb things in action anime. He just stands there and face tanks everything the gorilla's throwing at him. Just takes every punch, just like what?
Which, by the way, that should really give you a sense that this guy is. He's just a block of unmovable.
He's a genetic freak.
A genetic freak. A genetic freak.
Yeah, so they're building this guy way up to be like the final big, at least of this battle royale dealie that they're doing right now.
in.
Meanwhile, Tiger versus Hitomi.
Yeah, actually, before it even cuts over to them, gorilla bisected
Yep.
at the waist.
And we don't see what happens.
Yeah, just done. Rabbit pisses herself.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Thank you for catching that.
Yep. But then, Hoodie Man, Keto, his player moves him to the east, so Rabbit is saved. She doesn't have to try and. Let's get real. She's not going to fight him. She's going to run away anyway. But meanwhile, over on the other side of the island, Kitty Cat House, Tiger, Cheetah, and Civet, they're facing up against Hitomi Badger. She's fighting Tiger. What happened? Snake Man? Turns out
Snake Man's torso is still kicking.
Yeah, he tries to jump at Hitomi Badger out of the bushes. She's having none of it. Bitch slap. Get down. She orders the cameraman to save
guys.
him. Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, but we can talk about that after.
Yeah. What else? They fight. We get some flashbacks of Tiger and his adorable man crush on Lion.
Oh my God, that scene where like Leo gets up in his face like, you're pretty strong actually, and I think you could actually be pretty good someday. How about?
Yeah. And that was apparently before Tiger got the operation and was a Tiger Man. Tiger was just a nickname at that point. So yeah, Leo's like, all right, hey, you know what? You did all right for just a normal-ass genetic baseline human. You go get that operation. Maybe we'll have a rematch, and it'll be real good. And then, Tiger versus Hitomi Badger. They trade some blows. It's another really good dumb fight scene. There's some flash steps. There's some Hitomi Badger gets thrown into the house, and there's the cloud of no one could survive that. Pretty stock shonen fight scene, whatever, but well done for what it was, and I enjoyed it, and I like this episode. This is a good episode.
Yeah, no, this is all around just more Killing Bites.
Yeah.
Like, this is everything we expect from Killing Bites, except for less girls making out, which, give or take. Probably don't want to do it too much. It loses impact.
Yeah, but no, Cheetah's still in heat, you can tell.
Yep.
Still over there.
I love the fact that it's like, she's out of commission.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, oh yeah, that's actually a decent reason beyond the fact, like, no, do not get in the middle of this fight. That would probably be a terrible idea. But yeah, so let's start with Keto and Gorilla Dude. So I like the fact that Gorilla Dude is actually just like this nerd who got bullied in school. Yeah. So he gets the operation to have big, strong gorilla arms. And then, I loved the idea of like, no, he starts chucking the trees. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, using your environment to block off your enemy's escape.
And I should have known as soon as he started doing that, but I'm in the moment. I'm not worrying about what's going to happen next. But
yeah, Killing Bites has me always by the moment.
Yeah. But as soon as Keto jumps back into the mix, it's like, oh yeah, oh damn, you fucked up.
Yep. That strategy came back to bite him hard in the ass. By the way, something I found really funny. So yeah, the name of the episode is Shit.
Yep.
And in Japanese, she says yabai, which yabai is basically like, oh shit. Like it's basically danger. This is like a bad situation. And so my nickname for this episode is Killing Yabaitsu. But yeah, I love the fact that, he just punches Keto and it's just no midsection anymore. Goodbye.
Don't know if he has some appendage that can slash through people. Maybe just his finger just cleaned through. Who knows?
I like to think that it was his trunk.
Oh yeah, it was probably his trunk. It was perfect height, just right through him.
But I like I think this show does a really good job of dealing with its flashbacks. I feel like it consistently gives you just enough without becoming. It could so easily dwell too long in those flashbacks and get boring.
I'm of two minds. I like getting backstory on Leo and Tiger for the most part. I also am sick and tired of high school, like, high school rival stuff. But at the same time, at least we didn't spend too much time on it. And goddamn, I'm not, like, I don't know if the mangaka is pushing this, like, queer bait with Leo and Tiger. But goddamn, I was like, yeah, they kind of really want to. I'm pretty sure if Leo were there, that civet rep would be working.
Oh yeah, probably.
Maybe that's how Tiger snapped out of it, just like Hitomi Badger did by thinking about
No,
Cheeto.
I gotta save myself for Leo.
Yep, that's it. Canon.
All right.
That's
Yep.
why it's not affecting him, because Leo's not there.
That's my headcanon.
I can't buy that you bested Leo, not before me.
Which proves that both Hitomi and Cheetah Girl are totally bi and would have done it anyway.
Yeah.
Nah, I also did like the fight here. Like, it's good fight stuff. Like, I want more. Like, that's the one thing I'm kind of frustrated about, is like, I want a bigger, like, more extended fight scene, because we get these flashes of really cool fight, and then it's like, okay, back to plot, and it's like, okay, it's a trashy, entertaining plot, but
Nah.
I like what we're getting.
Yeah, I think it's just enough. And I think that I strongly suspect that when it gets up to like Hitomi Badger versus Keto, like that's when we'll get
That's when I first see too.
Yeah, the big over the top, but I think we could have a little more and it would be fine. I think it is really easy to go too far with that, and then you're Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And I loved that when I was 14, and now I don't have time. Like this show has been keeping up a really brisk pace throughout, and I think that is key.
I think like the most elaborate fight we had was with the gecko and the snake, and those
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
yeah.
Fine.
Well, next episode, though, I do think it's going to be an all-out brawl, though. So I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out.
Yeah, they're building up to something, and I think they're just slowly getting there. And if they're also like saving their budget for stuff later. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think they also do a really good job of the Zaibatsu, all the people's machinations. They cut to them just often enough to give me just enough that I can keep track of everything. Like, they did a really good cutaway where they tell you, oh, by the way, just in case you missed it, Reptile House is entirely out of the game.
Yeah.
These are the 3 pieces left of Kitty Cat House. What's the...
Ishida?
Ishida?
No, Ishida's our guys. I can't remember the other one. Yamashita?
Yeah, I think
Something
so.
like that?
Starts with a Y.
I think it's Yamashita. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they're down to whatever they're down to.
It's just keto, I think.
Yeah,
now.
I think just keto, and then Ishida has hippos out of commission, rabbits basically a non-com, so they're really just down to honey badger, and yeah, just like in just real quick succession. By the way, here's the status quo right now, and that is so helpful.
No, and I've loved I love the announcer, and I like how they have caught. Like, I think that's why I'm okay with the trade off for the action, because we have so many moving pieces that they've been cutting back just enough for me to, through like osmosis, understand. Okay, I think now I finally know who everybody is. I didn't need to at the beginning. I didn't fucking care, but now I think I know.
Yeah.
But, by the way, so whenever I finish an episode of Killing Bots, I read the manga, because I'm so curious how
man,
this
I
plays
should do
out.
that.
Yeah, no, this episode's really interesting because Snake tries to fight Civet in the manga.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you find out that he's still alive because he's in the back there, and they give you another Angry Zoo books about how like a snake can bite even after its a body has been cut in half. A man once died because of a cobra biting it's just the head, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that's neat. But the civet deals with them readily. It's like, you're out of commission, dude. Just stop. Don't even bother. So I was sad about that because kind of a cool moment for Civet, but the trade-off was a brisk pace, and we did not lose all that much. I was just kind of sad to lose that little bit with Civet, but the show's doing a good job at making sure that this show moves at a brisk enough pace to where all these things are happening all at once, but not too fast, or like I feel like we're missing something.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever, like we talked about in Ancient Magus Bride, you can kind of tell sometimes, yep, that's where they cut stuff out of the manga. That's where they cut stuff. I never feel that way here.
Yeah.
Like, I of course, I know that it is based on a manga. If I didn't have that knowledge, I wouldn't suspect. It just feels organic and it feels real good.
Which I don't know who's responsible for this show in terms of like director and series manager and the script writer, but they're doing a really good job at just making this a fun, entertaining show with just enough heart to make you invested, but never getting too over the top with its melodrama.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we're just gonna hold
Yep.
up these eggplants.
Yep. It's still killing bites. It's still real good.
It's still itself.
It's
and
still-
it's beautiful.
Still got us in exhibit wrap.
Well, let's see if we can civet wrap things up. It's Pop Team Epic, episode 9 drugs.
Oh, episode 9 drugs.
Yep, nine drugs, 9 different drugs. You've heard about
Oh,
crossfading.
yeah, I have.
I'm knock fit. What's the thing for? No, oct is
Oct?
8.
Oh, God, I should know this.
Shit.
It's Deca for 10.
Yeah.
Oh, God. 9. Nona? Nona? Nona?
Yeah.
I bet you the chat's telling us right now.
9.
I'm sure they're all beautiful people.
Prefix. The problem is with the stream delay, they're probably not telling us yet. Let's see. It's
9.
hexa, hepta, octo. I don't even know how to pronounce
Yeah, let me
that.
see.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
An alien character.
Ennea.
Enea.
Enea?
Enea.
Oh, Enea?
Enea.
Enea?
Enya? Enya?
Enya. Yeah, I liked her. I liked her track in the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. It was
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That
it
was
was the
good.
Gollum song.
Yeah,
Real-
Gollum's song.
Real sad.
Are
He's
we
a,
are we avoiding talking about Pop Team Epic?
I always am. Nove.
Nove.
No, okay, no.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So how did we get on this shit?
A lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Nine drugs.
9 drugs.
9 whole drugs.
Nine of them. Okay, so this one, I actually watched both halves for this one, and I think that was to its benefit.
Yeah.
Because the first half is all with clearly a guy who is an English speaker and a guy that is not.
A
Yeah.
girl that is not.
Oh yeah, okay, a girl, whoever, a person.
Gave me Rio vibes from.
I was
Devilman.
like, is this
Yeah.
Rio? That's what I was. Yeah, I got that too. Totally off the wall.
By the way, the male voice in this is a popular AniTuber from the United States.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he was posting about it on Twitter like, my voice is in Pop Team Epic.
Oh
Check
my
it out.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wonder who it
I
is.
think he actually lives in Japan too, so that's like his conceit is that
Oh.
I'm an AniTuber who lives in Japan. I'd have to look it back up. I feel bad. I should have learned that before I
should've
came
known.
in here. Damn it! I should see if I were better about this. But yeah, so that's a thing that was in the episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. I didn't laugh at a single thing in this episode.
There was the moment where it turns out that he's Mike Hagar, and I'm like, yep, that is a reference that I get. I got that reference. That's a Captain America reference from Avengers that I just made. Did you get that reference?
Yeah, I got a lot of the references. There's even a Final Fantasy 15 reference in that scene where they're pushing the car in the background. I'm like,
okay.
oh hey, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 15 reference. Why is it here? What purpose is that serving other than having a reference to that in the background? And what I realized is there is a big cultural separation in this show. I think if you are Japanese and you're just catching this on TV, they're easy to chuckle at. It's funny. It's in your native language. All the intonations are probably hitting way better than they are for an English speaker. These things are probably awkward and weird, and the timing is just right. If this is a good show in Japan, because I don't know that it is. I don't know that this is incredibly popular. I've read the manga, like the forecome of these and all these, and they almost always get a chuckle out of me and a laugh.
Yeah.
This show has managed to get several laughs out of me, or at least throws something at me so absurd or so wacky that it was entertaining or crazy. House Seikano is one of the coolest segments in this entire show just because of how crazy and how well done it was.
Yeah.
In this episode, I got a billion references, most of all of them that I got. I got what this episode was doing, and I just didn't find it funny.
Yeah, I think it was a weaker one.
Hell, there's that scene. Remember that scene where she hands her the button, and she presses the button, and she gets the hug?
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny until she presses the button over and over, and she hits her, and I'm like, so was this supposed to be a subversion, or is the joke that she punishes her for being overeager? I don't get it. It's not it.
Welcome to my experience watching this show almost ever.
Here's the thing. I've been giving this the benefit of a doubt for a while because there's always been something that's entertained me, but I think there's value to this show. I think there's value in it existing. I still think there are things that are creative, and if this works in Japanese, awesome. I can see that. I can see that this probably, because there's a ton of stuff like this in English that I still enjoy, that I still get chuckles out of, because I still love a little bit of reference humor here and there. It's
I know
nice.
you do.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Kieran. I see that tone of voice that you're using. But I also like there to be some kind of relevance to that reference, and there's just doesn't feel like it's here. Other than they're in New York, so Mike Hagar. Oh, they're in New York, so
I feel like you are trying to set this show on this pedestal that it doesn't even look at itself at. I feel like you are taking this so seriously and trying to dissect these dumb jokes that it is not taking itself seriously with.
Well, yeah,
I would just like to enjoy watching it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What I'm saying is, it's probably not serious at all, and that's fine. But it's also not resonating with me, and I believe that's cultural.
I think it is too.
Yeah, it's not that I think that it needs to be serious, but what I'm saying is, if there's no cultural resonance with me, like there probably almost certainly is in the Japanese version with Japanese people, then it's not hitting home for me.
I think the most pertinent thing you mentioned is the intonation, because there's a lot. I know just through the Japanese that I know, I can tell how they're saying some things where that's the joke.
Yeah.
And like when you hear it, because like I am so often a proponent that delivery can make a joke. When you're reading it, it really isn't the same. It can be when it's just a 4-koma, because then you're left to mentally do the pacing. But when you're watching it, that delivery has to be something you understand. And if you don't, it's just not going to do anything. You're just reading text to absurd visuals that you don't have any fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying when I say this, I'm not damning this show for what it is trying to be or what it is. When you say that I'm holding up too seriously, I'm really not. I'm really not holding up seriously because I've always been the proponent of it's shitposting the anime. You sit back, you'll probably get a joke out of it, and if you don't, whatever. It was, 10 minutes of your life? Get over it. But this was 20 minutes that I didn't laugh almost once.
Yeah, and I think that is saying something.
Yeah. And it's not, and if this show works in Japanese, which again, it very well could, I don't know. It's not working for me. And I'm going to hold this up. Yeah, this is not my episode.
Yeah, I mean, if this show were giving me a Hell Shake Yano every episode, then this would be a great show.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
If this were giving me a Hell Shake Yano every other episode, or even every third episode, then it would be enough to keep me coming back. It's not.
I feel like we're getting more Cool Runnings than we're getting Hell Shake Yanos.
Oh yeah, and that's those guys, like the AC Studio, those dudes who do that, their segments are what I love the most. The Bob teams, yeah, that's kind of why I'm watching a lot of this, because I love them and I knew them from shit they were doing on YouTube, and seeing them do this just makes me really happy.
I'd like to point out the Babane Mimimi segments are the things I always find a little funny because they're so off the wall. Their timing is so good.
They're so good at timing.
Like with the freaking rabbit. I don't know why.
I know.
Fast. Yeah. And I was like,
no, the way they
goes to the tea party and he's really late.
Yeah.
It's like, why? This is so surreal.
I'm gonna say something really funny. I didn't
say
anything.
And yeah, no, that's absurdist humor, and it gets me. I'm like, okay, good absurdist humor. I can dig on that. but it's not saving the show, unfortunately.
No, I think the delivery is something that I wonder if the dub is more would convey more, like the direction for it.
It kind of doesn't.
It doesn't.
I watched. Speaking of the dub, I actually watched the episode with the shogi, the shogi parody.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. To be quite honest with you, they had a hard time capturing the spirit of the original joke because that's not something that's in the United States. We don't have shogi commentators. We don't have commentators like this. So that entire scene plays out, funny enough to me, because I understand what they're doing, but in English it actually is worse because they don't have there's no parallel to that in English.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that this show has a problem with. Some things don't have a parallel in English. We have a lot of, Americans, English language specifically has a lot of things that are funny to us, not only culturally, but contemporarily. There are things that cannot translate to Japanese, and there are things in Japanese that just don't translate to English.
Yeah, and I do think this is a victim of that. It is very culturally its identity is forged in Japan, and it's hard to translate that humor.
And as if that weren't difficult enough, I'm sure they are in constant crunch mode getting this dubbed because they're simul-dubbing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
This must be such a challenge. So, yeah, I do not fault the people dubbing this. I feel for them.
Does anyone know what Super Milk Chan is?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Super Milk Chan. It had 2 dubs. ADV gave it 2 dubs because the original show was like Anime Meets SpongeBob. And they knew that, okay, so here's a bunch of jokes that only work in Japanese. Only. So they were like, all right, we know what our audience is like. We also want to give them a show that, we also want our non-super hardcore audience to have a show that they can enjoy outside of that. So they had one dub that was very strict to what the original was trying to do, like basically Excel Saga levels of stick with the script. And then they gave us another version that was like, okay, we're going to replace as much as we possibly can with jokes. Like anything that only makes sense in Japanese, we're replacing it. And anything that worked in the original, we'll try and keep as much as we can as long as it goes with the flow. Yeah.
I wonder if they might do that with this.
If, God help me, if the Pop Team Epic Blu-rays and DVDs have a separate dub where they go back and they're like, all right, we're going to rewrite the whole damn thing. Not only would that be amazing and way above their pay grade.
Yeah.
That would be probably beneficial to the show in general, and it's kind of sad that they couldn't have that opportunity here, because I know there are a lot of people who are diehard purists, but I'm like, look, as long as you get the original, as long as you get a real close-up effect, fully faithful dub, allow another dub that might be able to hit a sphere outside of
This
people.
isn't for you. Shut up.
Yeah.
You have your thing.
Yeah,
Go away.
yeah. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I don't blame you for it. I totally get you there. I think what I enjoy the most about the show is that the fact that it exists and seeing the industry, who I know has to deal with so much fucking bullshit, get the chance to collectively let out a burp and a fart and do it with such fun. You can tell everyone is having a good time.
Yeah. And
it's great.
I agree, and that was my driving force for this show. Is that I'm happy that this exists. At no point do I feel like no, this show shouldn't have existed. It's pointless. There have been people in our comment section that call it shit. I'm like, then you don't get it. I'm gonna say it. If you think that this show is pointless, you don't understand why it exists, and that's my challenge to you. That's my opinion, but I shouldn't have to state that it's my opinion. It's obviously my opinion that I think you're wrong. But,
yeah, well, that's your opinion.
yeah.
If you don't end every statement with your, that's my opinion. I
Yeah, then you're an asshole.
Yeah, you are an asshole. Did you know that?
But at the end of the day, yeah, even I've got to say, yep, it's not doing it for me because I'm not the intended audience for this.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious. What I want to know is I want to see if Pop Team Epic fans who are fans of the manga like this show.
Yeah, I haven't looked into that at all. I'm curious too.
That's the thing I'm curious about. I want to see if this show is effective for those people, because if it is, then fantastic, way to go. The people who made this, you did a great job. If not, that'll be telling. So, But Pop Team Epic is now on the chopping block. It's going to be 1v1 with Hakumei Mikochi. Hakumei Mikochi
Oh my God,
on
wow.
the pole
Yeah,
again
yeah,
for the
twice.
second time
Okay.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, boy, we were sitting down trying to find some presumptive nominees for the Fuck Buddy Awards so that you could do a little pre-work, and yeah, we got to the oh shit, I'm spacing on the name. King's Game
Zombie.
Yeah, the King's Game Memorial Zombie Award. We're like, yeah, what's gonna show up on that? I don't know, Kokoku maybe, but yeah, it'll be.
I think Hakumei Mikochi might be on that list.
I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, we'll see how this poll goes. But part of the idea behind having a poll is so that we can take it directly to the audience. So let's see. I gave the knife to both of them. Kieran, you gave the eggplant to Pop Team and the knife
to Hakumei Mikochi. Well, I gave the eggplant to Hakumei Mikochi and the knife to Pop Team Epic.
Yeah. So Kieran, anything is there any
Oh,
argument
my appeal?
or plea
Okay.
or appeal you would like to make to the audience? To vote one way or the other?
No, because here's the thing. I don't know what you'd expect from me or us to talk about with Pop Team Epic. I'm gonna keep watching it anyway. I don't care if it's on the list or not. I'm gonna keep watching it because I enjoy it. Hakumei Mikochi, you'll probably get more discussion out of. So if you like the discussion, vote for Pop Team to die. If you vote with your heart, vote for Hakumei Mikochi to die. There we go.
Yeah, I basically have to echo his sentiment. Look, I want Hakumei Mikochi to live because that's the show that I've consistently gotten more entertainment out of. Not that Pop Team Epic was bad by any means, but it did get to that point where its conceit ran thin. I'm hoping for Hakumei Mikochi to be better next week. And I said if it's not a return to its at least a return to form in terms of I loved this episode, I loved past ones. Yeah, it's probably going to get a knife from me. So, but I also think Pop Team Epic is probably going to get the knife from me if it stays its course. So, do what you feel is right. Knife the show that you care less about at this point because that's probably the best bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave Hakumei and Mikochi the knife this week, but Pop Team Epic, the best it's gonna ever do is stay the same, and the same just isn't something that I'm interested in. That doesn't make it a bad show; it just makes it not my thing. Hakumei and Mikochi, I have more hope for, so I would love to be wrong about Hakumei and Mikochi. I would love for this to be just one-off episode, and then it course corrects and it gets real good again. On the other hand, if I never watched anything on High Dive again before they get their Roku app up like adults, then it would be too soon. So I don't know. Do what you feel.
Oh, no, here's my appeal. Okay.
Okay.
Hakumei and Mikochi's 20 minutes. Pop Team Epic is 10 minutes. I need 20 minutes of my life.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Thank you.
All right.
So yeah.
Yeah, this was the first week that I only watched half of Pop Team Epic.
Oh, yeah.
Because usually it's the last thing on my list, and usually I can watch the back half and just kind of half pay attention to it. And if there are bits that I particularly liked or was interested in, I'll sort of focus back in. This week I was just nope, click off, done. I mean, part of that was I was still in vacation mode and didn't want to watch any more anime.
This was also, I'll say, probably one of the weakest episodes too.
Yeah.
There was not a lot coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this may have this was a very uneven week. You had two
Yeah.
of the worst episodes of these shows, and then
Yeah.
you had amazing episode of Magus, one of the best of
Oh, yeah.
place within the universe.
Yep.
Killing Bites being Killing Bites. So it's 2/5 of these were just had a bad week.
Yeah, lots of ups and downs this week.
And that's what I think. That's what I appreciate the most about Killing Bites is that it's just itself, and I never have to worry.
Yeah,
I know what I'm getting, and it's always good.
The worst thing was the Snapist, and he got his hemi-penis cut off.
And that was the best.
Yeah, here's the thing: using rape as a trope to make your villain more disgusting is something that I find way overdone and kind of again has its own problematic elements. But if that was the worst part of the show and had such a great payoff, congratulations, Killing Bites! You are my favorite trash. Way to go!
You're
I waited
the best In-N-Out burger I've had.
I waited like 3 seasons to see fucking Ramsay Bolton get a good death scene. I waited 2 episodes for the Snakest. It's fine.
Yep. Man, yeah. I love the fact that Killing Bites continues to be our favorite double animal style. So thank you, Killing Bites.
Yep. Well, I think we're going to wait until the YouTube version goes up to post that poll. So if you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned for that. But for everybody on Twitch, on Patreon, on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.